Testing volume. Oh hey, I have sound. Hello. Alright, let's make sure that's all the way off. There we go. Hello. Welcome, Marie. Hi. It's me, I'm here. Meme doing a lurk. Najwa, hello. Welcome, everybody. Sadly, the cat cam is currently unoccupied. There are no cats. There is a cat on the floor, but she don't know about cat cams, so hopefully she'll hop up there at some point in time. Or one of them will. Otherwise, I guess no cat tonight, which would be sad. So, hey, Couch Potato. Yeah, so tonight we're doing fluid art. We're doing fluid art stuff. Because someone was looking for more of a sort of in-depth tutorial style. Whoops, sorry, did not mean to smack the mic. It probably sounded awful. Yeah, so someone was looking for more of an in-depth tutorial style thing with some more information, and I did do one of those before, but I did that back in the days of just streaming on Instagram. And so I obviously, you know, like I can direct people to that, but it doesn't have a good way to scrub through it, and, you know, I can't sort of point people at certain, you know, time periods to read or listen to certain things or see certain things. So it's obviously not great, and we all know watching live stream VODs on Instagram sucks. So I'm doing it again, but this time here. And I'll have to, you know, go back at some point over the next week and kind of annotate it so that it's easier for people to find the stuff that they want to know about. Yeah, sorry, Marie. Jamie Dodgers is downstairs in the kitchen with Brian, I think having some dinner. She may come up at some point in time. Budgie Smuggler is actually sitting on the floor beside me, but she looks like she might be settling down in a different spot, and if she does end up settling down, then I will rotate the cat cam, because it would still be in view, so hopefully we'll get that. Yeah, maybe I'll put in timestamps. I've done that for, not for the most recent VODs, but for some at least. I have done some timestamps. For the ones that I was editing, I did full timestamps. For the ones that I have not been editing, that I've actually, like, since I started streaming on YouTube, I have not been adding timestamps to those, but I will for this style of video where I'm going to actually be actively teaching stuff. I do want those timestamps to be available to people, so I'll at least kind of go through and give some broad strokes for the timestamp stuff. So, yeah, so some of this is going to be completely, you know, recycled material. You've seen it before from me. And, you know, hopefully it will still be useful. And if not, there will be pretty, you know, cell formation and whatnot. So, and one thing that I did do is I kept the, let me switch this over here. I kept one of the fluid art things that we did on my last fluid art stream, which was the trans flag fluid art. So, yeah, this is very, very, very dry. And the reason I wanted to keep it was so that I can show you how why you kind of want to make these things relatively relatively close to the time when you're planning on using them. So you can see that like it is still, flexible. But as I was lifting that, it tore here. Let's see if we can get a better look. So it did tear as I was lifting. And I got a little hole right here where part of it didn't release from the mat. And other little micro tears along the edges. So it's extremely dry. This is like a couple of weeks old. So you can do decals ahead of time, but be aware that they become very fragile and brittle. And so when you are trying to like mold them to your nail, you're going to get a lot more of the like hard folding that is difficult to mask because it's just not as flexible. Now, and I've talked about this before with decals, you can, before lifting it, if you know that it's really dry, you can put either a slower drying top coat or a clear coat over the top and leave that for like 10 minutes or something until it's dry enough to handle and to peel that off, and that will help to soften it a little bit. But it's never going to be quite as pliable as it would have been if you had used it fresh. So that's just something I wanted to point out since I had one of these still. So yeah. When you're making decals of any kind, if you leave them too long, they're going to get real brittle and hard to work with. Couch Potato, if you fall asleep this time, it's fine. We will have timestamps for things, at least for the major stuff, and, you'll be able to go back. But, Ray, you realized recently that you forgot everything that I showed you before. Yeah. Okay, so first things first, with Fluid Art, I use exclusively pre-made Fluid Art polishes, okay? So the ones that I have happen to be from Baroness X. Mostly I've gotten them from like polish pickup stuff because they get some like really fun colors when they do Fluid Art in polish pickup and hella handmade creations and stuff. That does not want to focus up, does it? Hello. Thank you. Yeah, so they do some kind of fun ones. I think, this was the very first one I ever got from them, which was a PPU Rewind. It was zombified. It's a really fun one. But obviously there are other brands out there. I don't work with Baroness X. This is not sponsored or anything. I don't necessarily think that they're like the best or whatever. I haven't tried other brands. I know that they exist, and I know that people have success with them. There are also like DIY options. So people use what is it? One of the Garnier Fructis hair oil spray things. I can't remember exactly which one it is. There are a couple of hair products on the market that people use for DIY Fluid Art polish. The main thing is that you're looking for specific ingredients, because what makes those beautiful cells that you see here is silicone oils, okay? So silicone oils, there's a bunch of different ones that will all kind of work. So basically it's all the siloxanes. So everything that ends with siloxane is going to be one of them. Or I think oxane in general, maybe. I'd have to check the chemical formulas. Anyway. But it's not just those. It's also, and the one that gets used most frequently is dimethicone. So dimethicone you can buy on its own in big bottles of pure dimethicone. that are designed for doing like acrylic free poured. If you've seen, you know, the similar thing that people do to this, but you know, much larger on big canvases and such. That's usually done with acrylic paint and dimethicone. And I think that Baroness X uses dimethicone. I'm not sure, but you can use disiloxane as well. There's some other silicone oils that work. So you want to be looking at, if you're going to DIY, you want to be looking at ingredient lists for things. This is also why some of the breathable lines, I think the Orly breathables, although we're not a fan of Orly these days. But yeah, I think their breathable line, and I think the Color Club breathable line, people have had success with, and that is, again, because if you check the ingredient lists, those have, I think it's dimethicone in a lot of the breathable ones. Now, they may not all have the right amount or proportion of dimethicone to make good cells, and anytime you're DIYing, you do have to play around a little bit with your proportions. Couch Potato says the hair oil I was buying for the DIY polish smells like bubblegum. Nice. You know, that can be a benefit. Or not, depending on how you feel about the scent of the particular product that you've purchased. So yeah, you will have to play around with proportions a bit more probably if you're doing DIY. But it's totally an option. So you don't have to buy fluid art polishes. You can DIY stuff if you can find these alternative products. Another note about that is if you are working with fluid art polishes with other fluid art polishes, it's not going to work. If all of your polishes that you're using have silicone oil in them, so if you're using all, for instance, if you're trying to do it with all breathables that have dimethicone or disiloxane in them, you're not going to get cell formation. The thing with the silicone oils is that they have to be able to work on something that does not have them in it, right? So you need the difference between the two in order to get those cells. So I think we'll just jump on in with some basic stuff, and I will, hang on a second, I didn't grab any polishes yet because I'm an idiot. But let's go. Whoop. Gonna grab those, gonna grab these. I'm just grabbing a bunch of crumbs because crumbs work really, really well. And I want light and dark. I'll just grab a few crumbs. So easy mode. We're going to start with easy mode. The bubblegum smell does not smell very pleasant to you. I'm very sorry about that, Couch Potato. I don't think that I would particularly go for it, but you know. Okay, so easy mode for doing any kind of fluid art stuff is going to be one fluid art polish and some number of crumbs. The number of polishes that you're working with doesn't really matter too much. You know, I would say anywhere from 3 to 6 polishes total can work great. If you have too many, of course, you're working in such a small area, you're probably just gonna not have all of them available, and like they're not all gonna show up. But yeah, with crumbs, you're working in easy mode. So I'm going to start with the most basic sort of thing. Most people will start out with black, white, clear, one or multiple of these as their fluid art polish. So I'm going to start with Let's start with white. So we'll start with a white fluid art polish. And I'm gonna do, I will show a few different methods of doing this as I go along. The first method I'm gonna show is just starting with a puddle. So you've got your little puddle there of the fluid art polish. And I will drip in, I'm gonna go with something dark. So this one is Hollow Taco Bring Me the Teal. Do a few drops of that. Let's just start with 3 drops of that. And then I think I'm going to go with something bright. This one is Monarch Sun-Kissed Coral. And I'm going to drop straight into the middle of the drops that I just made. And this helps you get some nice concentric circles in your cells. And then I think I'm going to go with a little bit of white, again in the center of those. And you notice that everything is kind of sinking into the fluid art polish. The fluid art polish tends to sort of swallow everything else up. And then I'm going to do a brighter sort of tealy, turquoisey kind of, it's darker than turquoise, but this one's from Dom. This is Third Scoops the Charm. As far as I know, to this date, the only creme she's ever made. And I believe it's a neon. It's more of a cyan. And then this one is a nice light pink from Dimension Nails. This is Snowy Plover. And I have not tried this combination out before. I don't know. It'll probably be okay. We'll see. One of the several tricks to doing this is not to overmix them. So if you smush them together too much, you're going to get a color that is just a mush of all of those colors instead of getting some nice cell formation. So a minimal sort of mush, I usually squish together once, and then sort of scoop in a little bit and then pull it out. And what you're basically doing here is you are using the surface tension to sort of help the polish flow. This is especially important when your polish starts to dry at the edges, because it's not going to, of course, the edges will always dry faster, and it's not going to want to move. It'll just bead up along those edges where it started to dry out. Now, I did get a little bit too much mixing in this middle area. Just gonna wipe this off here. I got a little more mixing than I really prefer in this central area here, where, see, so it's kind of gotten a little bit almost grayish in this area here. And sometimes I find that can happen if I add white polish in with some of my other colors. It doesn't happen every time. It happens some of the time. I end up with sort of a weird pastel mix. I did get some nice cells forming in a few areas, but I would call, this area is cute here. I would call this sort of a middling success. I would try this again with a slightly different setup. Probably have less of the in-between colors. I might just omit the baby pink and the white. We'll see. I'm going to try it again with a little bit different combination. Now, if you're not happy with the mix that you have, obviously you can just go ahead and wipe it off right away rather than letting it dry and then peeling it up. It's up to you. I have lots of mats, so sometimes I'll just set it off to the side and let it live until later. But something to be aware of is that when you put polish on a silicone mat, it does bubble the mat, okay? This is going to go away as it dries, so I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm not going to use this one for a little while until it has sort of relaxed that bubble. So, I'm going to try again, and this time I'm just going to, actually going to do a different arrangement too, just to demonstrate that. So instead of one big puddle, I'm starting with 3 drips. I'm still going to use my dark teal, drip in the center, drip in the center, drip in the center. That one didn't get as much, but that's okay. And then my coral. And then I'm not going to do the white. Instead, I'm going to put this in between those two. That lighter, more cyan color. And I think I'm going to go back to my coral and drip that inside the cyan. Let's see how this one works out. And again, we just want to do a light smush. And pull. I think we're going to get some nicer formation here. It looks like it's cooperating a little better. Now, I like to use these stamping scraper cards for this. I find it works really well. I actually picked this method up from Dad Nails on Instagram. I saw him doing this, and I tried it out, and I really liked it. Prior to that, I had been using just this tool and using either end of it to just like do basically the same thing. It doesn't really matter what tool you use. Anything that sort of has a little bit of a flat edge should do the trick for you. So this definitely got some better cell formation. We didn't get a whole lot of the lighter cyan mixed in through here. There's a little bit, but mostly it seems to have decided to stay on one end, which is interesting. One of the things with fluid art is that you don't know what you're going to get. You have a little bit of, you have some influence, but you don't have perfect control over the results. And so you need to expect that this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a certain amount of chaos. But I think it's cute. It's a nice mix. I would wear it. Now, I want to show you something that is going to work very badly by way of comparison. So let me grab a couple of things that are going to work really, really terribly for this. Let's see. We probably want some and to be clear, this is not a criticism of these polishes. There's nothing wrong with these polishes. They're gorgeous. They're just not going to work for this. And you'll see why. Okay. That one's a little too similar. Hang on. Maybe that. Yeah, I think that's a good combination. Okay. Oh, we got some beautiful shimmers here. We got some beautiful shimmers. This is going to work so badly. And I'm even going to do it on a black mat so that you can see how beautiful the shimmers are. It's a little linty. I'm just going to use a bit of tape here. All right. And we'll use a black fluid art polish this time. And a different technique again. This time we're going to use 3 dots again, but this time arranged in a triangle. Of course, doing that on a black mat, almost impossible to see, but that's okay. Okay. So I'm going to put a drop of this gorgeous shimmer in here. Bum, 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 bum. I'll do that at the end. And then we'll do a drop of a different shimmer. And this is like completely different colors. So in theory, you know, you want some contrast. You want some different colors to get some interesting stuff happening. So, you know, gee, this should work really well, right? And then here we'll get this nice purpley sheer jelly with a green shimmer in it. And then I'm gonna do again a thing in the middle, blob it all out, connect everything. Okay. Now, so far, it looks real pretty, right? It's like, woo, so sparkly and glittery and gorgeous. But what ends up happening if you use all shimmers is that you really don't tend to get good cell formation. Instead, what you get is this like sort of oil spill effect, which like that can be real pretty. Like there's no denying that's pretty, but it's not like, this is actually the most cell formation I've ever gotten using shimmers together, which is hilarious. It's trying to make a liar out of me. This is the prettiest I've ever seen it work. Generally speaking, you end up with just a mush of shimmers that looks more like, you know, what you're seeing sort of in this area and over here. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's pretty, but you can do that just by blobbing on some polish, some shimmer polishes together. You don't need to fuck around with fluid art to get that. So generally speaking, you are not going to get great cell formation with using all shimmers together. Now, okay, couch potato, I am absolutely not saying don't use shimmers for fluid art. Not saying that. What I'm saying is if you use all shimmers together, you tend to get sort of more of a mush of shimmers. Same with if you use like all shimmers and shimmery flakies together, okay? Yeah, it's pretty, but you can't see the borders. So, there are no kinds of polish that you cannot use with fluid art. Except maybe, you know, ones that have dimethicone in them or disiloxane, where, you know, you're mixing those with regular fluid art polishes. But I covered the chemical part of that. Other than that, there's nothing you can't use. You just have to think about your mixing, okay? So what if, instead of doing it that way, what if we used one shimmer and a couple of, let's say, a dark blue and a pastel pink with white. Let's try this. Yeah, reflective, Kat mentioned reflective polish not being the best for fluid art. You can use it, but it does tend to be a little bit on the weird side. I'm just going to go ahead and do a little spill here. And we're going to use lots of this darker color because we know that shimmers come out beautifully against dark colors. Actually, I think I might switch to the more intense. Actually, let's, you know what? I'm going to use not pressed with that. Let's try that together. I think that might be really pretty with that shimmer. More sort of autumny vibes, maybe? Yeah, reflect can be a little bit on the thick side. But I've used reflective polishes with fluid art, and it's totally doable. It's just maybe not optimal. Some of the flakies can get a little bit on the messy side as well. This really, it's wanting to escape. Okay, gonna do our little bit of a mixy together, and then pull. This one is gonna be good, I can tell. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, so this is what you get if you add one shimmer in with some cremes. All right, so you get nice cell formation supported by the structure of those pigmented cremes. Okay, those are giving you your structure of your cells. But then that shimmer comes out and it makes these beautiful threads throughout. And it is bound by the structure in the cremes. Okay? So this is absolutely something you can play with a ton. And you can also do this with like magnetics, for instance. Mix a magnetic with several cremes. Or, you know, maybe you could do a magnetic and one shimmer with a couple of other cremes. You kind of have to experiment. The more special effect polishes you add in, the more sort of risky it tends to be in my experience. But yeah, this is absolutely stunning. You're right, Ray. This is totally a watermelon. Yeah, maybe I think the reflective polishes suffer from the thickness thing. You can thin them out though. So, you know, if you are working with fluid polish, I didn't mention that actually, and I should have, thinner polishes tend to work a little bit better. You don't necessarily want them to be like super runny, but they need to be runny enough that they are going to move and flow. Okay? So, this is why your polish selection matters so much. I saw Kat mention using thermals, which are very fun in a fluid art polish. Let's go grab a thermal. Let's see. What do I have for recent thermals? Who's been paying attention to my... Oh, you know what? I just got some new polish today. Hang on. I just got a new thermal from Voyage Hues. Literally just came in today. So this is Southampton. It's this beautiful shimmery teal thermal. Come on, focus up. Stop paying attention to my little sponge thingy. Yeah. Okay. I want to try this one out. Let's play with this. Now, because this is also a shimmer, what we're not going to do is add a bunch of other shimmery shit to it. Let's see. I think I want to try for sort of a watery effect. So I think I want to use white as my fluid. And then maybe this light. Let's try that. Or, do I want to use? Okay, here's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, do I want to use a gold flaky fluid art polish instead of the white? Or do I want to use the white and then maybe add a gold flake into the mix? And I cannot decide. I think I will keep it simple and use that. Okay. Okay. And actually, I might also add Bring Me the Teal for a little more structure, just because this is a shimmery jelly type of, or a crelly type of thermal rather than a pure creme sort of thermal. All right, so now this particular one does tend to run a little bit more on the thick side. Oh boy, I really need to clean off the cap too. So I really like to make sure that the polishes that I'm using it with are not too thick. So I'm going to sandwich that thermal in between cremes to help with the structure. And this thermal goes quite pale. So actually, do I want to... Do I want to use a different color? I'm having a crisis of faith. Hang on. Let's try Payday. This might be a terrible mistake, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Okay. And then I'm gonna do in between. Join those up. Come on. A little more. And then my thermal. Yeah, I saw this one. I was talking to the owner of Voyage Hues about an experimental, very lovely experimental blue that she was wearing for a recent Mani. And she pointed out this one in her shop, and I went, ooh, ooh, I must have it. So... Now this one, of course, you're not going to see the thermal effect while it's on the mat. That will have to wait until I put it on my nails. But I think I want to try and coax some more movement out this way. Sorry, I'm trying to... It's hard to like focus on doing a good job of pulling and also focus on staying in the middle of the camera. Got some interesting striations happening on this side. So the nice thing with this particular fluid art is that gold fleck really sort of gets distributed beautifully throughout the whole thing. And I really, really think it's pretty. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, y'all type too slow. Sorry. Chat is extra, but that's okay. We can also do one with gold not being the fluid art. Just do a different one. Let's do that with a red and something. Let's do like, let's do, what do I have? What do I have? Let's do a, do I want to do a gold flake or a gold foil? I think I want like a dark, here's a nice vampy red. Help me out, y'all. What golds do I have? Somebody tell me what gold I have. Pizza. You has pizza? Rose gold? Do I have a rose gold? I have gold flake. But I know I have like gold somewhere. Oh, I've got bottle service. What about bottle service? Gold hollow. I think that would be pretty. With probably black, huh? Do we want another creme color? We must. I think we must want another creme color. Let's see. That could be interesting. That like totally looks black on my monitor. This red looks black on my monitor right now. It looks red on my phone, but it looks black on my monitor. Okay, so we'll do a black fluid with those. I like this combo. Okay, let's hope it works well. I'm gonna do it on a white mat so that it's easier to see what's going on. There's not really any rhyme or reason to how I'm deciding which pattern I'm using, just FYI. I'm sort of randomly selecting a pattern. I'm going to use the loggerhead sea turtle first, just because. What's happening over there? It's not even a cat, it's just my chaos is falling. I thought for a moment there was a cat causing some chaos. I have lint. Lint emergency. Oh god. I thought there was a cat behind me causing chaos, but there was not a cat. It was just, I created a doom pile earlier today when I was building my second Alex, the squirt one that I built today, if you saw in my stories. I created for myself a doom pile that just decided to sort of settle a little bit. All right, now this red. Are you going to be too thick as is? This is a very thick red. This is very dense. I think I need to put just a bit of thinner in this. It's not like goopy or anything. It's just she's just very pigmented. And she's a little thick. All right. Mix her up a little bit here. Oh, migraine is not fun, y'all. Who has the migraine? May? I'm sorry. That's not fun. You're in the middle of Ramadan too, aren't you? It's extra not fun. Fasting with a fucking migraine. No, thank you. It sounds terrible. She's dense, that red. All right, here we go. Hopefully the sea turtle wasn't a mistake. I think it should be good contrast for the red. I just don't want it to blend too much. Oh, that's looking promising. That's looking very promising. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You blame work? Fasting didn't help, but it didn't get this bad until the end of the day. Well, it doesn't seem fair that work got the best part of your day, but hopefully at least being home will be an improvement. Yeah, this is a fantastic combination. Oh, ooh, I love it. Oh, I'm very into this. This is really nice. And I like the sea turtle with it. It's a nice contrast without being too, like, stark. Because it's not, like, super saturated. It doesn't compete with the red. That's gorgeous. I really like that combo. Oh, Marie, listen, friend. You're not wrong, but I'm not repeating that. All right. Okay. So, magnetics. That's another thing I should go over. Using a magnetic with fluid art. Totally possible. We can do that. Let's pick a magnetic. What magnetic should we pick? Somebody name a magnetic polish that you know I have or that I've recently gotten. I'm picking the first one you tell me. While I blow my nose, I'll wait for you. Mahalo. Dragon darts. I'm gonna choose dragon darts because I think it's gonna work better. Mahalo, I feel like it might have a little too much going on for it to really work super well. So which one's dragon darts? There it is. Okay. Also, I feel like Mahalo, it's so rare and precious. I don't want to use it up. Okay, so dragon darts. Green. It's got a pink shimmer. It's got, or sort of a magenta, purpley kind of shimmer. It's got this light blue, metallic-ish kind of magnetic pigment. So, let's see. Using a black base should help accentuate the little bit of shimmer in it. Maybe a green to support the green base of the dragon darts. And then I want a pop of something. Yeah. That's the one. I feel like that's going to be a good combination. Because I think that I think this is hibiscus, right? Yeah, high tea hibiscus is going to bring out the magenta a little bit. It's going to highlight the magenta shimmer in there a little bit. I think the payday will support the green base in Dragon Darts, and I think the black will help everything pop. That's my thinking there. Dragon farts, yeah. Okay. Y'all, I have so many bottles of polish on my desk right now. It's ridiculous. I have too many bottles of polish here. That's okay. I'll put them all away later. Probably tomorrow, actually. Hey, the next time y'all see this hand live, it's gonna be healing up from a tattoo that I am getting tomorrow. I am going to the Baltimore Tattoo Festival or convention, expo, I don't know, whatever. And I have made an appointment with an artist that whoop, YouTube, we're not supposed to become conjoined. An artist that I follow from New York. So, very excited about that. Whoopa! Okay, well, they've become conjoined here and caused problems for me, but we're just gonna go with the flow. It's fine. We'll make it work. We'll just add 1 drop here in between the 2 blobs. And then when we put them together, we'll do it this way. Yes, I'm very excited about tattoo time. It's been a whole year since I got a new tattoo, and oh boy, have I ever been hankering for it. So, very excited. Hopefully I like it, because it's going to be on my swatching hand. Oh, this is fun. This is very fun. Okay. So, when I let this dry, what I'll basically do is I'll have a magnet underneath it. Now, in this particular one, I probably could have done more magnetic pigment. And I want to actually do another try using more of the magnetic pigment, because I feel like I can see it, and I can see, hopefully y'all can see, there's an area down in this area where it's a little more concentrated. Ooh, let me get more in the center. It's a little more concentrated, and when I move it around, hopefully you can see the little bit of shift from the magnet underneath it. But I want to get more concentrated, so I'm going to try it again. But I like this color combination. I think this is a really fun color combination. And we did get some really nice cell formation in this. So I am going to keep this one. I'm just going to set it over here and try the exact same combination again, but just have more of the magnetic in it. And I think this time I'll just use a puddle. And we go drip, drip, and drip. And then, whew. Magnetic is also a little thick, as magnetics often are. can still work as long as everything else is runny enough and as long as the magnetic itself is not too thick. Obviously, if it's really, really, really thick, you're gonna end up with a problem, but because it just won't want to move very much. But I think this is still within the range that is going to work reasonably well. So I'm going to add some more blobs of the magnetic. I think maybe just on its own. Let's see if that helps give us a little bit more of that. Okay. Pull it out. So hopefully it sort of makes sense to people, my thinking in terms of like how I'm choosing the various different polishes that I'm using. Like you'll note that I'm always using at least one that is quite dark and one that is quite light. The exception to that being like for something like the trans one, they're all fairly light, but I still try and do, why aren't you focusing? Still try and do like decent sort of contrast. And I also used fewer colors for that. So the lower your contrast, I think the fewer colors you want to have, and you want to have more like tonal variation or hue variation if you don't have a lot of tonal variation. You sort of need to, where's my, I need a magnet. Damn it. I guess I'll just use the ring magnet for this one. So, yeah, so we did a better job this time of distributing the magnetic pigment. I don't know how well you can see it from where you are, the shifting, but I can definitely see the shifting in it, which I think is really fun. You can also lay this like on top of like a horseshoe style magnet, like a velvet style magnet, laid across the top of it to get more of a velvet effect. Totally an option. I've done that a few times. But yeah. So in general, you'll tend to have the most success. I'm just going to find a spot to put this. With predominantly cremes. If you're going to have special effect polishes, keep them to 1 or 2 in a mix. You're basically never going to get it exactly right straight out of the park. You're probably going to have to try a few times. I want this to be dry enough to use so that I can put it on and show you the thermal. I want it to be dry enough to use so that I can put it on and show myself the thermal. I'm excited about the thermal, but it's too wet. There's no way I can peel that yet. What's the first one I did? Was that this one? I think that's the first one I did. So this is the one that was all cremes, and this one should be dry enough to start peeling now. So, show you the difference. So this one here, brand new, still just ever so slightly tacky, but not so much that it's like that I'm worried about it sticking to things. Not gonna tear. It's instead, well, I mean, it'll stretch and tear rather than like doing the brittle little, like this will tear like that, right? With this, if I try and do the same thing with it, it's gonna do a stretchy tear, okay? This is sort of more the stretchiness and pliability that I'm looking for when I'm applying any decal. Obviously with fluid art, because they tend to be a little thicker than most other decals, they do need to dry a little longer. But that's part of why you want to really draw them out properly, and try and make sure that they're relatively even thickness and that you're pulling out all of that big sort of blob from the side. Put it in front of your air purifier to dry faster. It won't really help that much. Like, it'll dry slightly faster, but not by that much. Okay, so this is the shimmer one, which did come out kind of cool. Sort of got an oil slick sort of look to it. I think this would be really cool on black. But like I said, normally they do not come out as cool as this. And even with this one, where in the areas where you did not get those black cells, it's kind of just a mush. And you can get that look with just doing a smush marble. So I don't think it's necessarily worth going to all the effort of using fluid art if you're going to use all shimmers. And it's even worse actually if you use a fluid art polish that is already a shimmer. Then you won't even get the nice black cells that we got from that. It is very pretty and sparkly, but yeah, that's, like I said, that's the most effective one I've ever done that's demoing just shimmers. Usually it's like even more sort of nothing burger than this. Okay. That one is definitely too wet. This one is definitely too wet. Y'all want to suggest a combo? Or should I do more of one of these ones that we really liked to do a full mani? We also have the magnetic ones, but I don't want to move them. This one is so fun. I really like this one. What do y'all think? Should I try something completely different, or should I make more of one of these designs? This is the one that has the thermal in it. Violet plus hot pink plus black. Okay. Let me see. Does glitter work? Yeah, sure, glitter works. Again, it's same rules as shimmer. Let's see. Violet plus hot pink plus black. Hot pink. What do I have for hot pink? I have the hottest of pinks. The hottest fucking pink I've ever owned. Violet. What do I have for violet? Does Work Bestie qualify as violet? Or Hip Vine? Hip Vine might be more violet. I have a darker one from Starly Gravity. That one's kind of fun. Actually, that might be good together. Those two plus black. Like a blurple violet. I think this is the most blurple violet I have. The Starly one. Yeah, the Starly? Okay. Alright. You think plus gold flake? I keep accidentally stepping on a big thing of I just draw. Oh my god. Okay. Let me finish my sentence. I keep stepping on a big roll of bubble tape or bubble wrap. And B, I just totally fucking knocked over and then almost stepped on the first magnetic one that I did. And now it is very linty, so we're not going to be using that one for sure. Thankfully, I have the second magnetic one I did, which I think worked out better anyway, so. Gross. Okay, we'll just set that aside. Black Hollow. Interesting. That might be too many colors in one. That would be cool though, but I think it might be too many things to do a Black Hollow as well. Let's just try this. What is Bleg? Cat. What is Bleg? Help me out. I assume a typo. Okay. So the Pheromones, which is the super hot pink, that one it's got like a blue purple shimmer, I think, in it. So we're definitely going to see some of that in there. I think I want to use the Starly first. Oh, the lint is Bleg. The Gold Flake Fluid with a Black Hollow, that could be fun. It would definitely need creme to support it, though. You're not going to get good cell formation from a flake fluid and a hollow. You can do all linear hollows, by the way. They actually work very well. But yeah, adding a shimmer or a glitter or a flake or something to that tends not to work that well. Neon green with flake fluid plus hollow black. That could be fun. It's an interesting combo. A little more in there. I think I want to add, we'll do the purple in the center. Pull everything together with that. And then pheromones. And I think I'll do a little more purple in the middle here. And then do the gold. This one could be very interesting. Looks like a little dick. A little smudgy dick. Okay, here we go. Whoop! Shit. Didn't mean to scoop it quite like that. All right. Oh yeah, there we go. Getting some interesting cell formation here. Sorry. Oh, that is really fun. Yeah, the blue shimmer in pheromones is really popping over the darker areas of this. That's pretty good there. Let me try and get this a little more in focus for y'all. That looks pretty cool. That came out really very spacey, actually. Yeah, Najwa, it looks like a galaxy. Very, very cool. Kind of makes me want to try it with a like a dark blue as well. Okay, I saw neon green with flake fluid and hollow black. So neon green. Do I have a neon green? I must, right? Yeah. Yeah. A couple of neon green shimmers. And I don't really have a neon green creme. Well, no, I do. It's more of a slightly to the cyan side of things. And what was it? Flaky fluid and a hollow black. Okay, hollow black. I have a couple of options. Okay. I really need one of y'all to come over to my house and do all of my thingies for me. And also translate the word thingies so that everybody knows what I'm saying. Cabochons. I need someone to come over and do all my cabs for me and attach them to the tops of my bottles that are in drawers now. Okay. So, yeah, silver or hollow flake instead of gold would be cool. Today we are watching Peggy pull all of her polishes. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so for Black Hollow, I have Black Hollow Wish, which is glitter. Hello, can you focus, please? Thank you. I have Electrostatic, which is the linear hollow, and then I have Shattered, which is a flake hollow. What do y'all think? Couch Potato, you're on your way for my thingies. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'll, like, my cremes, I've put cabochons on top of most of them so that it's easy for me to find them in the drawers. But now that I have a whole lot more drawers and a whole lot more polishes in drawers, it's become impossible for me to find anything. So, Electrostatic, the linear. Okay. It is very important to thank your camera lens. I'm seeing 2 votes for Electrostatic. Okay. Now, Electrostatic. I think if I'm doing a linear hollow and a flaky fluid, I definitely have to go with a creme. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. For the flaky fluid, I do actually have an iridescent flaky fluid as well as the gold flaky fluid. So, I don't know. What do y'all think? Might be interesting to do the iridescent one. The iridescent one is like more orangey over dark stuff, but more sort of greeny blue over light stuff. It's one of those. So on its own, it has this over the black. Iridescent. The orange might clash, but like so might the gold. Like gold with neon green is like weird, I feel, to begin with. So I kind of like the idea of the iridescent. Cat likes the iridescent. We're going with Cat. Because I also like the iridescent. I don't know, we're trying things. We're trying things. Not all of the things that we try are going to work. And that's okay. You really have to embrace the fuck around, find out lifestyle if you're going to do fluid art. You simply must. You got to be okay with things not working because a lot of things aren't going to work. Or they'll work, but they won't work quite as well as you kind of hoped that they would. Or you'll get it done and you'll be like, I wish I'd used a different color for that. Like it worked, but it's not quite doing it for me for whatever reason. So, you know, every time I sit down to do fluid art, I sort of just think to myself, this is going to be an exercise in experimenting and playing around. I'm going to do another drop of electrostatic in there because I feel like I want the ratio to be a little more leaning toward the black. And with this iridescent base, the iridescent fluid art, it is in a clear base. So even though you're seeing it on a black mat, it is going to look different over like a naked nail, for instance. It will look different than it would if I put it on a white mat, for instance. So that's the sort of thing you also want to kind of keep in mind. I would probably use a black base on my nails before adhering these decals. See, I feel like that neon creme got a little bit too, like, pastel? Seems to have, like, washed itself around a little bit too much. It mixed too much. Don't love that. Like, I don't hate it, and we got good cell formation, but it feels a little bit, like, cloudy in spots? I don't know. Don't know how I feel about that. I kind of want to try something based on this a little bit different. Let's try a black fluid polish. We'll just dribble some out here. This might be a terrible idea. I'm just curious. Because this one, it has a shimmer, but it's also very pigmented. So I feel like it might actually possibly work. Possibly, maybe. Kind of breaking my own rules a little bit here, but I think it might be worthwhile. It's trying to get away, y'all. It's because I didn't let this mat dry enough. So a couple more drops of the green here. And then maybe a couple more drops of the electrostatic as well. Whoops, I totally just dripped some electrostatic directly on the mat that covers my desk. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay, maybe. Let's see how this goes. Definitely getting some decent cell formation there. The shimmer is taking on an interesting sheen in spots, but it doesn't seem to be completely taking over. That's cool. So yeah, um, the lesson here is there are no hard and fast rules. I decided to try the atomic because it is quite a pigmented base, even though it is a shimmer. It is not a sheer shimmer. So I was hoping that it would have enough structure on its own, and indeed it does. I don't think it would have worked as well if I had used the sheer flaky base polish, though, fluid art polish. I think it needed the creme fluid art polish to retain that structure. Sanyo, when did you join? I did not see you. Hello. You want it give you? Well, you're gonna have to either come over here or make your own. I really like that orange shimmer in that. It's interesting because it doesn't look obviously orange in the bottle. Like, you can see it, but it's not like super obvious that it's orange. But over black there, it's really obvious. It's really interesting. And you can still see the hollow. At least I can still see the hollow. Hopefully y'all can see the hollow as well. Certainly in the sun you'd be able to. You've been here a minute? Sorry, Sanyo. Yeah, that's the thing, right? You need to just know the polish. And sometimes it's a matter of just like pulling a whole lot of things and experimenting with them. I don't think that it would have worked quite as well with this Lin B. This is a beautiful polish as well, but it is a little more sheer. It's a really nice like buildable formula, but it's definitely more sheer. So for instance, like put down a little bit of that. And a little bit of that. You can sort of see the opacity difference. The Lin B, they've sacrificed some opacity to let that shimmer really come through. And the Atomic, they went, nah, the shimmer will be fine. We just want it really fucking opaque. So, makes a big difference. We briefly had a kitty. Hang on, let me see if I can... She's up there. She's just way up top instead of... Let's see. Hang on. Let me get the Cats Up display going. What a good girl. That's the Budgie cat. Hello, Budgie. What a good girl. You love my covers. You mean the blanket on the chair? The sequin blanket. It's very silly. Yes, everybody thought it was jammy. Budgie, you fooled them. But no, this one has ears. Get her a heating pad up there? No. They have a heating pad. They never use it. It's warm in here. This room is like... This room and the room beside it, which is Brian's office, are very warm. All year round. They're just warm. So... we have heating pads for them for the winter time. They don't seem to really be too interested in them so far, but you know, as they get older, they may end up deciding that those are more appealing. Where are you going, Budge? You gonna leave? What's he gonna do? She's coming over. Wow. Okay, this one is dry enough to do something with. I don't know what I want to do with it, though. Do I actually want to put it on? I have sort of a mishmash of different designs here. She's gone behind me. I don't know where she's gone. She's left. Where'd you go? Hi. Hello. What's he doing? Come Mom, how come you're not paying attention to me? It's very sad. On streaming days, they don't get enough attention. One of your cats will only hang out in the spot you set up for her when you have your space heater going. Yeah, these two, they seem to like pick spots that they really like, and that's just their spot for that week, and then the next week they'll be somewhere else. Especially Budgie. Budgie really likes to just cycle through different places. The frog one? Is this the frog one? I really like this one. I think this one is cute. So a thing that I like to do with fluid art polish or fluid art decals, besides just like obviously doing a decal over your whole nail, is sometimes I like to do something where I'll do like a split thing, or I'll do like just a stripe, sometimes like a wiggly stripe, or a half nail or whatever. With the decal, that can be kind of a fun way to make a single decal go a lot longer. Would you like to focus? Thanks. I appreciate that. So maybe I want to do that with this. This could be kind of fun. Do like do some kind of a base color and then cut like a stripe of this for each nail. You can also use a hole punch to do interesting shapes. I will say with a hole punch, you do want it to be just a little bit drier. We should basket weave? Not right now. Yeah, I'm interested in trying the basket weaving, but also, oh my god, that seems just brutal. Just like a brutal, awful thing to do. Yeah, so what if I just did like a base of hollow taco with a stripe of this? Or what was the shimmer I used for this? This was this one, right? It was Light Fast. That could be fun. Let's see what that looks like, just doing like hollow taco. Oh, you know what? Let me do an easier way of dealing with this. Hold up. You see this? Hang on. You see this? My mommy made me this. My mommy is an excellent sewer person. Try and show you. There we go. You can see the design without the glare. This like makeup bag. And I don't wear makeup. But I do have a lot of cabochons and swatch wheels, and so that's what I've been doing with that. I keep them all in there. That was one of my Christmas presents from my mommy. We've got, let me just do a little, there we go. She's like, what are you doing? Don't trust you. Okay, so what if we did like this over top of I like to test toppers this way. I'm still on the heads up display. Hold up. Sorry. So I just painted the creme under and the topper over. That's kind of interesting. It might be more fun even to do it like as just partial, but like having that as a stripe on top. I like that idea. Okay. Hang on. Just try and move it a little bit more over. All right, I'm going to do some really boring stuff with my nails. I'm just going to paint them with Bring Me the Teal. So you can look at you can look at Budgie's butt while I do that, because you've all seen me paint my nails before. It's not nearly as interesting as Budgie's bottom. Probably gonna need 2 coats here. Especially because I'm doing a shit job of application. I'm like actually like halfway through my bottle of Bring Me the Teal, which is kind of wild because like I go through lots of black and white cremes, but I don't really go through, I don't use cremes a whole lot. Like I don't do manicures with just a creme, for instance. Like I've literally never just wear a creme. So the vast majority of my usage of the cremes in my collection is just from doing nail art, which is mostly, you know, little dabs here and there, right? But Bring Me the Teal, apparently I have used enough of it to be running low on it, which is very interesting. Although I will say I use Bring Me the Teal a fair bit as like a base for other like various different shimmers and things like that. I just think it's a really nice base color for stuff. So I'll sometimes use it in the background of nail art. I also pull it fairly frequently for fluid art and water marbling and such. I feel like it's just a good base for a lot of stuff. So I do use it more often than most of my cremes. But yeah, other than that, like, I guess Scientific, I'm like halfway through. What Do You Pink, I'm about halfway through. And Black and White, of course, I'm on, like, I've gone through so many bottles of those. We've got some pretty good cat content happening here. I'm enjoying this. Oh, there we go. Yeah. What a good girl. Doing some cleaning. The beans. Just little beans. What a good budgie. Oh, I'm so glad that she finally decided to join us. It's okay, I'm just having a drink of water. It's nothing to do with you. Such a suspicious old lady. Why are you hunkering all awkward? Why are you doing an awkward hunker? One foot pedicured. She likes to do like a real chompy chew down on her claws on those back feet. Sometimes she'll just sit there for half an hour going at her feet. It's ridiculous. Gotta do the toe maintenance. Alright. Got the second coat going here. Gotta make sure I have fun nails for tomorrow's tattoo as well. So this is good that we're doing something that is actually going to look nice and cohesive. I mean, I have no qualms about wandering around out in the outside world with just completely insane nails, but it is nice when they at least look reasonable, like nails that a person would have. Oh, Kat, that's right. You're doing a pedicure too, aren't you? You and Budgie are doing a pedicure. Although she only really kind of started hers a little bit. Are you pretty much ready to go on your trip? Is Kevin going with you, or are you leaving him with the parents? This one is like getting ratty and problematic. It's the hunching. Yeah. I fucking hate doing pedicures on myself. But I also hate being touched by other people, so it's sort of the lesser of two evils. I try and at least do like just like a functional pedi pretty regularly. Just kind of, you know, keep on top of the skin health and nail health and whatnot. But actually, like, painting my toenails and stuff almost never happens. In-laws are coming on Tuesday and leaving next Thursday, so they're with him. Nice. You'll be able to have a proper vacation then. That'll be fun. You just did a pedi before stream? I usually do my toes standing up, with one foot on the edge of the toilet. At least for the functional part of the pedicure. If I'm just doing that, then I will have my foot on the edge of the toilet and I'll just be standing and hunkered down. For nail painting, I will come into my studio and sit down and put my foot up on a stool. You are wearing nail polish on your toes though, right, Kat, for the trip? Alright, I think what I'm going to do is do the topper on half. And I'm not going to worry too much about getting a nice line there, because I'm going to have the stripe down the center. Can't stand for that long while doing detail work? Yeah, that makes sense. May, you're going to Vala's wedding too, right? You gonna get a pedi for that? I still haven't got my fucking passport application in. I need to do that. Curses. So yeah, so I'm just doing the shimmer on half of the nail, and then I'm going to do a stripe down the middle of the nail of the fluid art. And I think that should make it look pretty nice and cohesive without being too overly fussy. I like doing a strip of a fluid art thing, in part because it is so very easy to apply just like a little stripe. I've done a bunch of manis like this, not exactly like this, but where I make a nail art, or I make a fluid art decal, and then just use portions of it, cut it into strips or wavy lines, or used hole punch or something, a little paper cutter thingy. Okay, so let's see, I have 5 nails. We'll go 1. I want to do them fairly even, so I'm just trying to get relatively even width and straight lines. That's going to probably end up with more than I need, but that's okay. I'll be able to choose the best ones. This one might be less straight. It's always harder at the edge. Okay. So let's see here. Where's my forceps? So I have, that one's a little bit uneven. Not terrible. Okay, that's an uneven edge, We can take those ones away. And I'm just gonna choose the best 5 out of these and apply them. All right. I feel like this one is a little too uneven, although I don't know, maybe it would be okay if I just use part of it, but I think it's the least even, so I think I'm gonna kick that one out. All right. And then we want our sticky base, which is on this side now because I rearranged my desk so I have bases all on my left side and top coats all on my right side. So it makes more sense, but it does occasionally confuse me when I go to reach for this base, because I used to keep this base with the top coats because I use it more for this kind of thing. So I have a tendency to sort of automatically go to the other side because I'm not at the beginning of my mani, so why would I be reaching to the side that I reach for the beginning of the mani for? But normally I tend to organize by what my brain reaches for automatically, but in this case I had space for one more base on the base side, and I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, so just going to, whoop, hey, place nicely. Going to very gently place that down. Cross our fingers that it is reasonably even. That's kind of fun. There we go. Whoop. All right. That worked pretty well. I think the base probably could have used another 30 seconds of drying time before I went to it, but I think that's all right. Should certainly be more dry for the other ones. Little tiny bit of cleanup at the bottom here. And melt it down at the top edge. Maymay, you haven't even decided on your wedding outfit? I guess you do have more options, though. You already have a ton of beautiful dresses and outfits, so... Need to hope there's an iron somewhere on the trip, yeah. All right. So there's one down. Next is going to be this finger. I think I will use this one. Try and get it reasonably centered. It's a little thick on this, but I think that's okay. And we'll do the pinch and pull off at the end. While I am applying these, y'all should let me know if you have any questions about fluid art stuff that I have not answered that you think I might be able to answer. Or if you wanted me to demo something related to the fluid art stuff or whatever. Any fluid art related questions? Now is your chance. I mean, you could always ask in the comments later too, once the VOD is posted, but you've got me here, so might as well take advantage of it, right? If you had a clear fluid art polish, what regular polish do you start with? A solid? I tend to pretty much always use a creme as the first thing that I drop in, kind of regardless, most of the time. But yeah, with a clear, I would probably treat it like a like you do the shimmer fluid art polishes, and use something that's going to hold some structure first. Because if you had a clear fluid art polish that you wanted to use as your base, and you started with like a shimmer, I don't think that you would see great cell formation there. The same way that you don't tend to see great cell formation if you use like a clear based flaky or a clear based shimmer fluid art, and don't use a creme as your next one. You want, the basic way that I think about it is I want structure next to unstructured. So cremes are the most structured, especially really highly pigmented cremes. They're the most structured, and the least structured are things like your very sheer shimmers and jelly-based flakies, things like that. So I try to sort of sandwich them in that way. Think about it like that. Any other base you recommend for fluid art if you don't have silicone circles? Yeah. I also have used... Hold up. I have a bunch of these. They're literally just like a cheap silicone mat, nail mat, that I cut up into squares. So you can use that. People have also used wax paper. I have not tried that. But apparently wax paper also works. Does it work if you sandwich the fluid polish? Like not using this fluid polish first? I don't know anyone who does it that way. I don't think I've actually tried it. I mean, in theory, it should still work. I just wonder if you'd have as much, if the fluid art polish would be able to access as much of the polish. I'm not sure that you would get the same quality of cell formation, but that would be an interesting thing to test, actually, because I don't actually know the answer to that question. So maybe I'll go ahead and try that. The other thing that fluid art should, in theory, work fine on is the heavier sandwich bags, like good quality sandwich bags. Basically, you just want something that you'll be able to peel the polish off of. So it has to be something that the polish isn't going to bond with too thoroughly. So yeah, so anything that you can use as the base of any other kind of decal, you can also use for a fluid art polish. So yeah, sandwich bags should work just fine. Wax paper, in theory, should work fine. And like I said, other people use it. I just haven't tried it. I have done sandwich bags for other kinds of decals. Those work fine. You do have to let them dry a little longer, I find. It's a little harder to get them to release nicely. But on the bright side, they don't swell up the way that silicone does, so... All right, there is our little strips. Come on, focus up. I believe you can do better than that. Would you like to... All right, well, I guess it's good enough. That's better. So I've got just creme on the one side and shimmer on the other side. Kind of a fun combo. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the ticket. Okay, I want to try that suggestion of sandwiching. Also, if you have a bunch of little bits that you've cut off, please, for the love of God, use a piece of tape to pick them up, because it is such a pain in the ass to try and pick them all up. Do yourself a favor. Okay, so let's use a combo or some kinds of polishes that we know work just fine together. We'll do this purple. We'll use this as our base. We'll add the fluid art polish into that. What did I use with that? Was that the black that we used? It was the black, right? I think it was the black. So we know this combination made really nice cells before. Oh, interesting. See how it kind of spread out along? Can you see that? Instead of like sinking underneath it, it spread out along the top of it. So maybe that is why nobody does it this way. Maybe it's just harder to control how that part of things works. Interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna do some more regular polish. More of this. And then I think this one I also used some gold flake in it. Or did I use gold hollow in this one? Which did I use here? That looks like gold flake. Okay. See if this works as well. or not. Certainly a little weirder to control. In terms of like being able to get the drips where you want them. Seems to work okay though. Yeah. Getting good cell formation. I would say that it seems to not matter whether the fluid art polish is first or not, except that it was a little harder to get my dot placement the way that I usually would. But are you gonna focus? Yeah. But yeah, we still got really good cell formation there. The Void 8 I1. I think it was Flake. Yeah, it was. But yeah, it's definitely different. I think the black didn't distribute as well as it did in the other one. It didn't distribute as thoroughly, but the cell formation is just as good. So yeah, I think you can just do either. Okay, I need to do a top coat on this, and then I think I'm done with this. So in terms of top coating with a fluid art mani, same rules as any other top coating thing with nail art. If you've used very highly pigmented cremes in your mix, there is a chance that you're going to end up with some smudging. So you can use something like a water-based top coat or the seal glaze stuff, some kind of smudge-free top coat, or just so very carefully float your top coat. In this case, I did use like the Bring Me the Teal. It can be a bit smudgy, but it's not smudgy like a one coat black or a one coat or nearly one coat white. Those kinds of like super pigmented black and white polishes. So I don't feel like I'm taking a huge risk by floating my top coat. But if I had used like one of the black or white super pigmented cremes, I would 100% have put a coat of some kind of smudge proofing on it. My goodness, y'all, it's already 10 o'clock. I haven't done my other hand yet, but I think I might just throw a couple of coats of something that will coordinate or at least not clash and call it a day. Because it's getting late, y'all. I still need to work out. Still need to have one last snack before bed. I gotta watch a show with my guy. Don't even know what we're gonna watch. We just finished watching something. What did we just finish watching? I've completely forgotten. Literally, it was the day before yesterday. We watched the last episode of something. It's gone now, whatever it was. It is no longer part of my brain. Let's see. What should I wear on this other hand? Hang on. Let me see what I have that's unworn. I don't want to do a thermal. What's this one? And I don't really want to do a magnetic either. Okay. I'm swearing you all to silence. None of you have seen this. I just want to wear it, okay? But you didn't see it. You don't know about it. It doesn't exist. Come on. Doesn't exist yet, okay? It's a secret. You don't know. Don't tell anyone. Shh. We're going to try it out. Together. Live. I have not tried it yet. It's supposed to be a sibling to, Belladonna? So I expect, you know, we're going to need probably 3 coats of it. Nice big flakes. Look at this. I got some kind of polish schmutz on me. Let me just do a quick... get whatever the hell that was off of me. Honestly. You can dress me up, but you cannot take me out. My poor right hand is just suffering between baking for my birthday and all of the Alex building and just generally the time of year being hard on my hands. It has not had an oil soak in ages. It's been neglected. Very sad. Poor hand. Yeah, the big flakes are good. I'm a big fan of the big flakes. I liked Belladonna, but it is a purple base, which y'all know is not my favorite. But I liked it anyway. It's a nice formula, so I'm very happy to be seeing a sibling of it in a color that's more my style. How do I like the Alex? I really like the Alex. I've already been using the cabinets on either side of the Murphy bed in this room are part of the Alex lineup. And I've been using them for my crumbs. But yeah, I really like the one that I have been using for a few weeks now, enough that we bought 3 more, 1 tall and 2 shorties. Doing a really bad job here, but that's okay. So the shorties are going to be split between polish and crafting supplies, because the top 3 drawers in those are too shallow for most polish brand bottles. They'll fit Cirque and Sweet and Sour. I haven't checked. They might fit a few of my other brands. I haven't tried yet. But they certainly fit those 2 brands. So the really the shortest polish bottles that I have will fit in them. But so they have 3 super short drawers and then 3 drawers that are the same height as the upper drawers in the tall Alex, which fit all of my brands easily. So yeah, so the bottom 3 drawers of those will be for polish, and the top 3 will likely be mostly for art and crafting supplies. Alchemy and Red Eye are short too. I do have a few of those, so that's good to know. Now that you don't spend money on computer parts, maybe the money will go towards storage. Yeah. Yeah, Cat, I like this more than Belladonna as well, mostly because of the color. you know, me and hello, would you like to focus? Hello? Hello? Oh, there you go. Mostly because I don't love purple. It's not my favorite. I don't hate purple, and I do really like Belladonna. But it's more like I like Belladonna despite it being a purple base. So this definitely, for me, beats out Belladonna. For sure. Seems to be exactly the same flake that was in the Belladonna, I think. Do our third coat here. Yeah, I really like this. Love those big flakes. And it's fun with this. It's like, it's definitely nowhere near the same, but it kind of feels like it vibes with it reasonably well. Your gel polishes might have to live on your Billy bookcase still. Yeah, don't a lot of the gel brands use like ridiculously tall caps for absolutely no reason? I see that with, I can't remember the name of, is it Long Hair Pretty Nails or something like that? Is that who I'm thinking of? That does a lot of gel stuff and has just the most ridiculous shelving setup because of all of her gel stuff. The Korean gel polishes have the real long, or real tall caps. Yeah, it's a complementary blue. It's definitely nowhere near the same, but it goes together. They vibe together. I am a fan. You do have to, with these big flakes, you gotta zhuzh them a little. But I feel like people who like big flaky polishes are already expecting to have to do that, so it's not a surprise. Yeah, the Alex desk drawers, Najwa, I think are the same height as the top, the shallower top drawers that are in the squat lower ones that I have. But yeah, like I said, those are going to be used more for art supplies and stuff. They're like, I think like 8 centimeters high, rather than the tall Alex shelves or drawers rather. The shallower ones of those have 10 centimeter interior height, which is enough for any of my brands. Yeah, the desk drawers. I'm pretty sure, Najwa, that the desk drawers are the 8 centimeter. I could be wrong. But they're basically like you would put, some papers and pencils and things like that in them, but you're not going to be putting anything major in there. And we just need to top coat this, and then we're going to be done. Where's my top coat? Oh, there it is. I didn't put it back in its bin. I have, Kat got me the Mani Mod. Hang on, maybe I can show you. There we go. Kat got me these Mani Mod trays. I've got one on each side for Christmas. And, yeah, so that's my top coats are in the green one, and I have a blue one on the other side that has all my bases. And I like them. I do want to get some more stuff from them. I'm very tempted to get some more Mani Mod stuff. But, you gotta be reasonable. There's lots of stuff that I would like to buy. I've been thinking about getting a little, like, they have those little, I don't even know what you call them. They're like a little thing that you rest your fingers on to paint on. I feel like that could be real handy for stuff like this. And like I can do that on top of like this thing I could do, but then I've got like a yellow thing behind it, and that's kind of annoying. So yeah, I don't know. I might end up picking up one of those. They are cute. Part of what I'm debating about is whether I want to have one like customized so it has my name or something on the top. That could be fun. The other thing that I was thinking about is they have the Alex trays that have the polishes like sort of at an angle in the tray, and I do wonder if those, because those could theoretically let you use even the shallower shelves, the shallower Alex shelves, from these squat ones. So that might be something to look at some point in time. But like I said, for now, I think it's going to be full with all my crafting supplies anyway. I have like a ton of, there's like polish making supplies and resin supplies and you know, painting supplies and just sketching and freaking everything. I have so much shit. Y'all. Finger perch kind of thing. Yes, Najwa. Yeah, they have a cute one. I'm just considering like whether I want to have one that has like a custom thingy on top. You know? Like, would it be cute if it said Vexed on top or something? Would they do that? I feel like they would probably do that. And I think it would be adorable. I really like how my fluid art fun things came out. I think, would you please focus? You're like semi-focusing, whatever. I really like how these came out. I think that was super cute. I really like how a lot of these designs came out. You guys came up with some very interesting ideas, I have to say. Did I leave any questions unanswered? Is anybody feeling unsatisfied? This one was so cool. That's the thermal one. I bet now I could peel it and get it to warm up for us. My hand, the back of my hand is kind of cool actually. It's surprising. My palm is super boiling. Try and get this to change for us. Will I even be able to tell, given that I put it in with a blue and a green that are sort of flanking its colors? That's a question. Don't forget to take pictures this time. Yeah, I need to do that right after I'm done. The problem is if I don't do it like immediately after I finish, then it's not going to happen. Yeah, I think I should have probably put it in with stuff that wasn't already kind of close to the colors that it was going to be in the warm and cold state. I think it kind of got swallowed up a little bit. This poor thing got freaking grossed up by the carpet. And we got this one that was the magnetic that did not get grossed up by the carpet, which is pretty fun. I don't know if y'all can see the shift there. The lighting isn't quite optimized for it, but I can see the magnetic shift in it. It's I like to do the magnetic ones on a velvet as well. I think they're a lot of fun on velvet. You kind of have to like drape it across the top of the velvet thing. Can you see that? See that shift in there? think I can see it a little bit in a few spots. All right. Well, this has been very entertaining. You're getting your thermal fluid polish tomorrow, Najwa. I am very excited to see that because I think that's going to be a lot of fun to play with. I don't have any thermal fluids. I have certainly, put thermal polish in with fluids fairly frequently. But I really like how this vampy one came out. That is so good. It's such a good red, too. So, really cool. Even if it does look like a thing that Sassy should not have reminded us of. Horrible, horrible person. All right. Let's switch us over to Budgie for the handoff. Not that Laura and Marie. I didn't even know you were there. You're so quiet. We got lurkers, y'all. Thank you all for coming. If you liked it, if you had fun, you should subscribe and then, do the bell dingy thing so that you find out about these things when they're going to happen, and get the notifications and all of that good stuff, and not make me say this sort of thing because it feels real cringe. Is that it? I think that's it. Everybody say goodbye to Budgie. Okay.